So today, Dynamite Comics announced that they would be canceling this, Cecil's big cover. Why? Quote, "In speaking with Cecil, neither one of us realized the cover would be so polarizing. We discussed and are not moving forward with the cover or the campaign. Nick B., CEO and publisher of Dynamite." So this is a company that has taken $200,000 plus from the consumers they're now trying to denounce while backing pros that are associated with them, calling people in to the A to the Z to the I's. Fun times, huh? Fun times. So before we get started, this is our second comic. It's in demand right now, meaning we're finalizing it. When it's done, it's done. We have 20 backers away from 2,000, and this on top of, well, you'll see what they call us, what these pros try to do to us, but you know what? We don't need them. We need you. More on that at the end of the video. So like I said at the beginning of this, Cecil's big cover, brought to you by Dynamite Entertainment, has effectively been shut down because a certain company out there decided it was time to bend the knee to crazies. Now the reason I think that this was targeted and you didn't see things like Ethan Van Sciver's cover or Billy Tucci's targeted is because Cecil, he didn't quote unquote pay his dues. Gatekeepers, they think they should be able to keep him out, and the artist of this image too, Donal Delay, they already promised that they would keep him out. See, this is a prior discussion about Donal Delay and keeping him out of industry. This happened a year ago, and Tess Fowler, she's going to be one of the people that you see leading this garbage. If comic pros defend hate campaigns, they've already gone too far. Save your energy for other fights. You can't save them. Hold your ground, let them go. Effectively cancel them out there. You have somebody with ties to Marvel here talking about sometimes you have discussions not for the person you're talking to, but for the people looking on. Give them the shovel, let them dig, see how far down they go, and make it harder for them to deny. Then you have Tim Doyle, you know, the guy that threatened our address before we had all of our property damage. Yeah, I was actually trying. Silly me. I should have known better. Bond villain. I think we can always make good faith attempts to try to reach other people that are colleagues and peers and try to clear things up. If they clarify their position and it's what we thought, okay, done with them. That was the case tonight. Then this comment says plenty here. I think you both give the enemy, Donal Delay is the enemy, too much credit. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, shut the door on it and let folks know not to open the door again. Wash your hands of it. The evidence is here. People don't care at all. So shut the door on Donal Delay. Keep him out of the industry. We will never let that guy back in. Now, all of that was literally because Donal Delay, he thought you should respect consumers. He thought that certain people out there weren't ists and phobes, and they had decided to shut them down. Now, enter a year later. This is the blowback to that cover. We're going to talk about a bunch of it here. Here's Tess Fowler. Comicsgate is an offshoot brainchild of failed Gamergaters. They started as a kamikaze harassment movement targeting marginalized comic creators, including me. I kept screen caps, tabs on them for a year because I was afraid of the links they would go to. Any person or company who supports them or affiliates with them is supporting a hate movement. I have witnessed them in hate-filled harassment spirals since 2017. No articles written about them thus far fully encompass what they had done. Then you get to the real statements here. I'm going to skip down to this part. I post this because Dynamite Comics has just boosted one of their projects, and their head honcho donated money to them recently. Mainstream pros are also starting to join them publicly, so be careful out there, folks. Comicsgate is dog and you don't want to step in it. To be crystal clear, there is no room for tolerance of anyone affiliated with Comicsgate. So you see that there. There is no room for these people out there. We will gatekeep them out of the industry, and if you decide that you won't capitulate to us, we'll try to burn you down. Now here's another fun person. This is Kwanzaa, and if you don't know who Kwanzaa is, well, here's Kwanzaa not only going with the N to the A to the Z to the I rallying cry, but also telling people that if you're saying you're black out there and you're talking about being Comicsgate, you're either fake or. So these types of accounts are such giant red flags. They show comics hate, knows it's discriminatory, so it makes fake quote-unquote minority accounts to bolster a paper-thin, inclusive narrative. I know there are outliers who stand for it, but we know that type. Yeah, you see what he's calling you, an uncle? Then he goes further than that, too. Comics hate isn't a conservative thing. It rallies around juggalos. Pause. I can't insult juggalos around ex-sexist bigots. I don't subscribe to race traitor. I'm not a tribalist. But people of color who stand for comics hate align with blatantly racist rhetoric, so take it how you want. I'm not a tribalist. I don't call people race traitors, but hey, I'm calling you that. So that guy, he decided he would get involved in this too, playing the buzzword game. I'm only saying this once. Everyone in the comics industry who knew that Dynamite Entertainment is supporting Comicsgate needs to stop with the back channel, blind eye, fence-sitting BS because of associations with Nick B or checks from this publisher. Basically, don't take money from them at all. All right, people need to stick to that too. The women, biopic, whatever, and LGBTQIA in comics who they target don't get to choose. We've been harassed, threatened, doxed by, and because of these MFers who Dynamite is now blatantly promoting because of no backlash. They've been doxed there. I think it's well established what these people have done to other people, but yeah, they're the victims. Which is to many of y'all being mad quiet, acting funny and confused. Some think it's about effing politics. Others have a project with Dynamite and don't want to F with your money. Some of y'all secretly agree with these scumbags, but F that, and honestly, F you. These people are a-holes, have harassed for years, are supposedly to be your colleagues and friends, but y'all ain't got S to say now. Y'all are making F declarations to not be S predators, blacking out your effing profile pics, but too many of you know for a fact that Nick B is working to legitimize a hate group. Effing silence. This effing bag of garbage Twitter handle is a GD homage to one of the most notorious scumbags of this hate group. Y'all cool though? Times are that tough because of the beer bug? Do not F at me. Don't effing DM me. Don't effing talk to me at the con once this quarantine is over if you aren't taking an active stance against this effing absolute BS. P.S. If you think I'm not talking to you, I very effing much am talking about you, and I am mad as F at you. Cute there. Isn't that so cute? Now, in this article, you had other creators that actually work for them. Here's Matt Miner. He actually was part of Dynamite's Gwar comic book. Said, a couple of people asked my thoughts on Dynamite since they're doing CG projects, because I have the Gwar book with them. My answer, we did Gwar long before the CG Dynamite Alliance. Before the beer bug, there were talks of doing another series. I pulled that. We will find another home. I want to add that I know some folks at Dynamite, and there are good people there. I know that this was a business decision and not intended to be malicious. But for me, a queer dude making comics and just trying to get by and do less harm, I can't go there. I can't go there, indeed, because buzzwords, that's what we got to shut down. Here's the writer of Betty Page. I'm very proud of the work our team has done on the Betty Page comic series, and I made a commitment to them to conclude it, but issue 5 will be my last work with the publisher unless there is a drastic change in the comic management. This proceeds made from the series will be going to the Trevor Project, Trans Lifeline, and the Okra Project. That's all I have to say about that. Yesterday, as concern regarding Dynamite rose, she added, when I told them I was quitting, Amanda Connor was mentioned as, but she's working with us. It's not all Gators. Anyway, I'm making sure my team gets paid. Editor and I are both donating our paychecks. Then I'm free. Then I'm free indeed. Mark Russell, who works for Red Sonja. Again, remember who you're giving your money to if you buy Dynamite projects. Said, as someone who has several planned projects with Dynamite, this has been very much on my mind lately. I have seen firsthand how Comicsgaters harasses creators, particularly LGBTQ and women creators, and I am unequivocally opposed to all they stand for. I'm not sure abandoning a mainstream publisher to Comicsgate is a smart move, but there does come a point where a bar serves enough N to the A to the Z to the I's that they become an N to the A to the Z to the I bar. Rest assured, I will not be silent, and while I don't know what I'm going to do yet, I will respond. Then he makes this statement. As I write, I am finishing writing Red Sonja number 24, which concludes my contractual obligations to Dynamite Comics, after which I will no longer be accepting any further work for Dynamite for as long as they continue any affiliation whatsoever with Comicsgate. I don't make this decision lightly, not only because I was looking forward to other Dynamite projects, but because when a creep walks into a bar, I think they should be the ones to leave. But the reality is they're not being asked to leave, which necessitates this decision. I don't know if this is the right move or even a very smart one, but it's what my conscience requires. Comicsgate is a hate group with a very long history of harassment, particularly of women and LGBT creators. Don't try to convince me that they're not. I've seen it for myself, but if they won't leave the bar, then I have to. I refuse to provide them mainstream coverage by working alongside them. Again, this was not an easy decision. I love working with Dynamite, and I know this puts my collaborators in a difficult position. I had several conversations with them over the last few days, and I'm proud to report that they all support or at least understand that decision. Then you have people like John Layman, a guy who actually doesn't just target us, but decides to target families as well, saying, my opinion on Comicsgate is clear and quite public, but any conversation I've had with a publisher I'm working with, and rest assured a conversation has been had, is something I do privately. A public shaming is splashier, but a grown-up talk is ultimately more fruitful. So they're telling you behind the scenes they are doing their best to lock out anyone that has any affiliation. Fun times there. Here's a colorist. So I reached out to my editor at Dynamite about this Comicsgate situation and said that I can't be associated with a company that allies itself with a hate group. I just want my followers and other creators to understand that I condemn Comicsgate and am furious with the company. I was 2 issues into a James Bond miniseries with them that has been put on indefinite hold since March, and I haven't done any further work since I finished colors during the lockdown. You have another artist here. Disappointed to see who Dynamite has gotten in bed with. A shame, as I've enjoyed doing Red Sonja covers, but I won't work for a company who lines themselves with Comicsgate, and so on, and so on, and so on. So Dynamite, instead of getting their house in order, saying we write the checks and on, they decided to put out this statement saying, hey, we spoke with Cecil. We didn't realize that would be so polarizing. We're moving forward without the cover or the campaign. So they've taken $200,000 plus in quote-unquote Comicsgate money. They weren't too good to do that. That's just in campaigns. But now things are too bad. I say remember that. Remember all of these places. Remember all of these people that want to call you N to the A to the Z to the I's. They want to call you ists and phobes and on, and take your money elsewhere. Take it to an independent endeavor like us, because you know what? This won't happen with us. So to close, this is our second comic book, and this insanity. I mean, these people, they act like victims, but imagine, because you go out, you talk about due process, and you talk about changes within industry, people not only wanting to deplatform you, but then wanting to ruin your real life, taking away your jobs, taking away anything like your freedom, wanting to weaponize CPS and on. That's what these people do. But it doesn't matter, because they are powerless in so many ways. We don't need them. We need you. We're almost up to 2,000 backers too. So yeah, check that out while we work on it in demand. And as always, they forgot this lesson too. You make these endeavors work, not them. So thank you. I appreciate you. And we'll talk about this stuff soon. Thanks.